Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic week. Well, you know what? Let's all book a Caribbean vacation so it's nice and warm and hot and humid. And by the way, can you please make sure there's no air conditioning in my cabin? That'd be great. That's right, I'm getting some reports from people who are on Anthem of the Seas this month, a 12-day cruise to the Caribbean, and their air conditioning broke down, and the air conditioning in some of the common areas, like around the elevators, also broke down. This happened with about 5 days left in their cruise. And as you can imagine, if you're stuck in an inside stateroom with no air conditioning whatsoever, it will get extremely hot in the Caribbean and muddy and you'd be just drenched in sweat. It got up to 86, 87 degrees in the stateroom, so you know you're not sleeping well. People had their doors propped open trying to get some kind of breeze in. If they had virtual balconies in their inside cabin, they turned it off because the heat from the screen inside was also generating heat in the room. So just all in all became very uncomfortable, and it happened in balconies, and it happened in inside cabins. It happened in the aft of the ship as well as in the forward cabins on this. So the cabins had no air conditioning, and on the first day people went down to complain. They said they're working on the problem and they'll get it fixed. Second day rolls around, it still hasn't been fixed, and they go down to the front desk again. They say they are working on it. It should be fixed fairly shortly, and you may hear about compensation in the future. Okay, day 3 rolls around. Now Royal Caribbean says they're going to have a meeting to discuss compensation for those who are affected, as well as they're going to probably have it fixed before the end of the day and let them know what they're doing about the repair. So they're going to hold a meeting about it. I don't know if anyone out there has ever worked in customer relations, but let me explain the situation to you. Say you have 50 to 60 very uncomfortable, hot, angry people who are very frustrated with having no air conditioning in their cabins on a cruise ship, and you put them all into one room and discuss compensation and that the repairs are still ongoing. That's just a bad idea. That's just a horrible idea to do that. Yes, keep people informed of what's happening. Yes, let them know the situation and what's being done to remedy it. Yes, let them know there may be compensation coming their way. But don't hold a meeting on the ship about it with everybody crammed into one room. God forbid the air conditioning's not working in that room when you get there neither, because that would just be horrible. Somebody apparently agreed with me with Royal Caribbean, and they canceled the meeting when people showed up. They said, oh, sorry, the meeting's been canceled because further information is coming forward. We had to relay to head office, and so more information will come your way in your stateroom. So, all right. So that's been said. Catastrophe avoided in that case. I don't know who would have thought that one up. So Royal Caribbean, day 4 comes along. Finally, some of the aft cabins are starting to get a little bit of circulation. The forward cabins are the last ones to finally get some kind of relief. And even then, it only drops the temperature from 80 degrees to 70 some degrees. So it did drop it down some, but it's still bad circulation and not going through, still not working properly. And Royal Caribbean sends out their compensation that they're going to let people have after this. So let's picture this. It's a 12-day cruise, and for 5 of your days in the Caribbean, you don't have any air conditioning in your stateroom. That's the situation. Their offer was, if you're in an inside cabin, you get $200 refund. If you are in a balcony, $300, and if you're in a suite and above, you get $400. Now keep in mind, a 12-day Caribbean vacation is around $3,000 minimum for the cabin, depending on where you are on the ship and how many people are going, and it only goes up from there. So really the offer is less than that. The $200 I don't think would cover port fees on this cruise or gratuities on this cruise. So I kind of feel like a lot of people who are on board saying, hey, this compensation offer really isn't very good. And every cruise line out there does their compensation offers different. Some are really good at it, some are really bad at it. But I just did a video a couple weeks ago about how great Royal Caribbean was with everybody who was affected by the Oasis of the Sea and the norovirus that hit. 500 people came down ill. They went back to port early. They were looking after people on the ship, and everybody on the ship got a full refund for their cruise. Great, even if you weren't affected. Not just the people affected, everybody. So in this case, say they have 30 to 50 cabins that were affected. The other people still are enjoying their vacation. They still have air conditioning, so they're not affected. No compensation needs to go to them. So it's a very minimal amount of people on this cruise that are actually affected by the compensation package that are offered. And I kind of think it's really low. And here's my explanation to why. First off, having no air conditioning, it's not just an inconvenience. Now it's an obtrusive thing on your cruise. It's affecting your enjoyment of the cruise. It's not, oh, I missed a port. Oh, well, I have to spend another day at sea. Okay, I'll enjoy the ship and all its amenities. No, I'm on the ship and I'm uncomfortable in my own stateroom on my cruise for almost half the cruise. So that's where something kind of differs from a normal thing that might happen, like a missed port, bad weather, that kind of thing. Here, so this is a 12-day cruise, 5 days, uncomfortable in your own stateroom, no air conditioning. Compared to, say, my experience on my last cruise with Royal Princess, where it's a 15-day transatlantic cruise and there's a hurricane in the middle of the Atlantic. And so they diverted us from where we were supposed to be going. We missed Norway, Ireland, and Newfoundland and ended up going to 2 ports in Spain instead. Completely different itinerary, completely different weather, completely different everything than what we were expecting. And on board, as soon as they announced this was happening, and remember, this is because of a hurricane, a natural occurrence, nothing to do with the cruise line or the ship, they offered us $200 onboard credit. Great. 2 days later, they also told us we're getting a 20% refund to our cruise as a future cruise credit to sail with Princess again. We weren't even expecting that. Most of us were quite happy with the $200 onboard credit because we knew it wasn't the cruise line's fault. They were looking after our safety. It wasn't something breaking down or a power outage or anything like that. This was a natural disaster going on, and we were quite happy, and they gave us above and beyond. Now go back to this one where it is something that is preventable, but something happens. We always roll with the punches, but this is something that affects all of your cruise. You're uncomfortable in your own stateroom. That's not a good thing. It's more than just an inconvenience. It's obtrusive to your enjoyment of your vacation. So that's where I kind of think this is kind of low. Maybe a $200 refund, or you know what? People probably would have been okay with saying, give us a certain percentage of a future cruise credit. So, 50% for a minimal amount of rooms. I mean, it was almost 50% of the cruise that they didn't have air conditioning on board. Something better than $200. I have reached out to Royal Caribbean to see what their response is, and I know a lot of people who are on this cruise have also sent in letters of complaint, and they've gotten back saying that it's under investigation. They will look at the complaint and get back to them. Of course, that's kind of a form letter that goes out with every cruise line, not just Royal Caribbean. That would be anybody. And we'll wait and see what happens. I will keep you informed, but what do you guys think? Do you think $200 for having no air conditioning for up to 5 days on a 12-day cruise in the Caribbean? If you're in the Atlantic or it's up where it's cold, not such a big deal. But in the Caribbean, yeah, it's a pretty big deal. The humidity can be stifling up there. So my feelings are it's a little bit low. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. I hope you liked this news update. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world, please hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation. Oh, and some people were asking to see the cat one more time. Well, it's been pretty warm in my apartment the last couple days, and so when I put water down for the cat and the dog, I sometimes put some ice cubes in it. And apparently this is the first time the cat's ever seen ice cubes. So take a quick look at what she did.